Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your Sunday night entertainment. It is the EFL League One review show. I'm joined today by two guests for the first time this season. I have got Jake, who is Punk Chef 41, content creator for Sheffield Wednesday. Also does a podcast, Talk Wednesday. We forget to put that on all the time when he's being on.
So we made a graphic.
So welcome onto the show, Jake. And then,
thank you.
Yeah, and then at the bottom we've got MK Dons fan Jonathan Harris, who also does trash talk for the MKBSA. All their links are in the description down below. If you've not followed them on Twitter, please do. If you've not subscribed to Jake on YouTube, please do as well. Massive show tonight. We've got the midweek fixtures, which was a full fixture list. I will be quickly skipping across our fixture, but you guys will have the opportunity to talk about yours, and we'll whip around the grounds there, and then we'll go on to Saturday's fixtures.
Your game.
No, I can't.
Don't want to know about it at all. And also, I will try and get as many comments on the screen as possible, and we'll try and dip in and out of those as we go along. There's a fair few people in already. Evening, Ian. Donny on tour. Good evening. Josh Newbury. Hello. And saw you at the MK Dons match. So thank you very much. Should have said hello. So welcome to the show, guys. I hope you're both well this weekend. How are you doing?
Not too bad, to be fair, mate. Considering.
Could be better.
Good. How about yourself, Jonathan? Could be better.
Could be better.
Yeah, it's been a tough week for you guys with a draw and a defeat. We will get into that.
Yeah.
So we will start with Jake. The Tuesday night game, Wigan, Sheffield Wednesday. This was a 2-1 victory. Talk to us about it, mate.
I could not believe that we won this game, considering it's Wigan, top of the table, form team, and this is just what Sheffield Wednesday do. We're really good at going, we should beat the teams that are not that going that way, and then we'll beat form team, and we're like, right, we can go on and have a push and go for it. A comical own goal, which is as good as our one against Ipswich. I've got to admit, it was just nice to have it going the other way this time. Patterson, what can I say? Patterson's goal was lovely. I loved it. Good to see that man now getting on form, and he's a good player. And I still don't know how he's still getting into the club. He's only like 26, so he's still a young age. And I thought he may have been gone in the summer, so I'm happy about it. Penalty, yeah, when that went, and we're like, could Bailey save it? Not this time. He's great with penalty save, but doesn't get it right. And then we had the whole kind of I think it was 95 or 96 minutes at a time, and we're like, we know what Wednesday do. We've done it for the last couple of seasons. Can you not? And luckily, we held out on the count, but it was a good game. It was good away win, and it unexpected, and it gave us a little bit too much hope and optimism.
Yeah. Wigan started very, very well. And like you say, that result has given you a bit of hope coming into the weekend, which was dashed. But we'll get onto that in a little while. We'll skip on to the MK Dons 3, Fleetwood 3. So, Jonathan, focus through this one, mate.
Well, as you can see from the graphic, it was basically it was literally Scott Twine against Fleetwood. Everything he was touching was turning into goals. It was probably the best hat trick I've ever seen live. I mean, that free kick alone was just superb, but the other two were simply outrageous. Fleetwood, in fairness, gave it a real good go, and I think they had 5 shots on target and scored 3. I didn't think they had that many on target, but it was a real competitive game. It was end to end at times, and unfortunately, I think our main takeaway from that was when Dean Lewington is rested. Unfortunately, all 3 goals did come down that side of the pitch. So I would possibly like to see a bit more experience in January come in defensively, because when Louis out, it is quite a young defensive unit, and but it was a decent point, and it kept the run going. Would have preferred a win. I think a win would have had us. Second. I think after that, but so take the point, and we moved on to Saturday.
Yeah, came into Saturday full of confidence because of this result. The less said about this, the better. So for me, as a Rovers fan, I went down to Plymouth. I thought we performed very, very well. Unlucky not to get anything from that game, and that kind of built up hope and belief within me that we were going to go to Ipswich and potentially get something, because they're in a transition as well. But it was one of those games where pretty much everything that Ipswich did, they did very, very well. And everything that we did very, very poorly. And the scoreline says it all.
Which bits were you rage quit and left?
Yeah, we made it was like we didn't turn up. Apparently, 2 of our 3 centre backs were suffering from mild concussion in that 10-minute spell. I don't know if that's true or not, but it would explain why there was 4 goals in 10 minutes in the second half. But we just weren't good enough. We weren't at the races. There was no desire. There was no passion. There was no commitment from any of the players. And the performance from last Saturday to Tuesday to this Saturday against MK Dons, that this result sandwiched in the middle was chalk and cheese compared to the other 2. And as a Rovers fan, I'm guessing you 2 guys are the same. All we want to see our players do is show desire, commitment and passion. If the result doesn't go our way, so be it. But I could have taken a 6-0 defeat had the effort level been there. It just wasn't. One shot on target, just not good enough. And words were clearly said, because we'll get on to the MK Dons game this Saturday a little bit later on. But yeah, very damaging result against a team in and around us in the table, and it did cut us adrift a little bit. And that was probably the first time this season that I've looked and thought we're in some big trouble here. But then that's kind of gone away a little bit from Saturday's performance. We just need to find that consistency for me. So yeah, poor day at the office at Ipswich. Horrible. On to Shrewsbury against Wycombe. So that's our 3 games covered for the midweek. Couple of positive results and 1 very negative one. So we'll have a quick whip around the grounds for the midweek games. Shrewsbury against Wycombe. Wycombe started well, but Shrewsbury unlucky in this one by the looks of things.
Yes, Shrewsbury a weird one. They get into games really well and they look really good. If they get a good little run going and they play some good football, they could be dark horses for me, because they are looking good and done really well on the budget he got there to get that team how it is. And they are performing, they're fighting every last thing. And to take it to 2-1 on 78, you could go then and get the next goal and it'd be 2-2 and it changes. And they have most shots on target. They looked like they had a lot more of the ball as well. It looked like it was a bit of an unlucky game for them. Wycombe came out of that, and fair play to them.
They'll take that, definitely. Not a bad start for Wycombe this season so far, but we will get into their game on Saturday. Massive result, and one which potentially surprised a few people, was Oxford 5, Accrington Stanley 1. Accrington started very well. They've got that consistency with Holman at the helm, but Oxford ran riot. Thoughts on this one, Jonathan?
It was, well, I wasn't expecting such a convincing win for Oxford. I know that they're unbeaten at home so far this season, as far as I'm aware, and they have been struggling for goals. So to get 5 in one game is obviously a confidence boost. Shout out to Nathan Holland, who got dropped for the previous Saturday game, wasn't even in the 18, was called up on the Tuesday morning due to an injury or illness, I believe. And then he goes and I think he got 2 goals and an assist. Yeah. And good to see Matt Taylor get a goal. And Michael Nottingham's own goal was a bit unlucky in fairness. But I think Accrington will just think of it as one of those days where just nothing went for him. And yeah,
because statistically, it's fairly even with the shots on target. Oxford massively outweighing them, but possession-wise, it's a fairly even game. So it's just one of those where, like you say, rub of the green just wasn't in Accrington's favour on Tuesday. But like you say, Holland showing great character after being completely dropped from the squad and coming back and showing, well, giving the manager something to think about. So good result there for Oxford. They're a team who should be doing well this season, in my opinion. On to Burton against Portsmouth. Pompey struggling at the minute, but a very good result on Saturday. But this result kind of compounded where they were at that point in time. Bit of a surprise for me.
I really thought this was going to go Pompey's way, actually. When I saw this come through, I was like, this was a shocker. And it just shows you what this league is at the minute, is that you think the teams that should beat them and they're not doing it. And that mentality other teams have got at the minute, the big club versus the little club. And this is no disrespect to Burton, but in the size of Pompey, they are the little club. And they actually, if you look at those stats, they absolutely peppered it. They didn't have much of the ball, but when they did have it, they took the shots well, 6 on target, 14 shots altogether. And you don't have to have a lot of the ball to win a game. We've seen that over the couple of years. And this is the thing, they're starting to look good, more corners. And Burton, they're a funny team. They're one of the teams that they get. It's like anybody in this league who gets on a good run, they could actually go places. And I haven't seen a team apart from Wigan until us go on that run and get it. And you can tell there's going to be a team that's going to get that run and they're going to fly. And Burton could be one of them because they do play some very nice football and they're very solid at the back normally.
Consistency is key in League One. That's for sure. Moving on to Morecambe against Lincoln. So I work with a Lincoln fan and is saying that they're going to be struggling to score goals. That's the thing for Lincoln, playing nice, neat, tidy football, but they've not got a goal scorer. And in League One, if you've got a goal scorer, you'll do fairly well. So that leads us on to Morecambe, who have got a goal scorer in League One. Cole Stockton, absolutely on fire.
Indeed, the high goal scorer. Is any high goal scorer in Europe at a minute or something like that?
I believe so.
Jesus.
So
it's just I don't seem surprised at Morecambe getting these results now anymore. I sort of naively at the start of the season thought that they were really going to struggle, but they seem to have a togetherness and a grit and determination to think, right, everyone's going to write us off. Let's just go for it. I spoke to a Lincoln fan after this, and he just said that it was one of those that they just didn't turn up. Michael Appleton wasn't happy with certain players as well, so I imagine some words were probably said at full time. And again, another you could say shock result in League One, given that Lincoln reached the playoff final last season.
Yeah, well, I think you've hit the nail on the head a little bit earlier with what you said about Morecambe. They've got that grit and determination where these results aren't surprising me as much anymore. But
to be fair, I think that game against us gave them a lot of belief and showed them what they could do. And I think it's given them that fight going. If they can beat Sheffield Wednesday, we can beat anyone. And I think when you beat your big scalp in League One, it gives you that mentality to just go and do whatever.
Yeah. Talking about big scalps, Sunderland, massive team at this level. There's no two ways about it. Potentially Cheltenham overawed by the crowd at Sunderland. Very noisy bunch, aren't they?
Yeah. They just battered them. I felt sorry for Cheltenham here, and they did. When Sunderland get going, they're scary.
Yeah.
When they get going, they're scary, and when that crowd is rocking, for a team like Cheltenham, that's got to be something that's new to them. They're not used to it. So hearing that, it's got to have a psychological thing. And looking at that, they just bossed it. 22 shots, 10 on target to their 6 and 2. More of the ball, more passive, more passing accuracy. Everything just, whatever Sunderland did that night, it just worked. And there is a team that will work there, and hopefully it'll go right. But we haven't seen it from any team yet. There is going to have that. There is going to be that team that does a Blackpool this season and just goes because we're not close. Yeah.
But yeah, Sunderland.
If you do that is a massive boost on your thing, and I'll be asking for drug tests by your players.
So will I. Moving on to Rotherham against AFC Wimbledon. We've got a Rotherham fan in the chat. It's popping up, Ian Bradley. He said not for me, Lewis, too inconsistent. That's about Oxford going up. They are quite inconsistent, but on to Rotherham, one of the more consistent teams in the league at the minute. Ian said it, Smith is irreplaceable. Crossing everything in January, hoping that he stays. I think Morecambe fans will be exactly the same with Cole Stockton. But yeah, Will Grigg, not quite on fire yet, but he is simmering, scoring plenty of goals after joining on deadline day. But yeah, Smith scoring plenty, and is a handful, isn't he?
He is an absolute handful, and I think that was a clever signing by Rotherham at the end of the transfer window, getting Grigg on loan. We all know the damage he can do in League One. He's done it with Wigan, he's done it with MK Dons, he's starting to do it with Rotherham. He's a different option to what they've got up top as well. and the clean sheets as well. I mean, no one's really talking about Rotherham's run at the minute. They're just slowly creeping up on the top of the table, and they're one of these teams that are too good for League One, but for some reason in the Championship they just can't seem to get it together. And I really hope if they do go up this season that they actually stay up for a season, because they deserve it for all the hard work that they put in every year.
Yeah, definitely. They're
it's a
currently
difficult
under the radar.
For me, Rotherham don't bend when they get to the Championship. They don't want to hit that glass ceiling and be careful. They like being a little bit overcautious, and that's not what you need to do when you come up from League One. You actually need to spend a little bit more.
Yeah, just a bit of belief that putting a little bit of money in will keep them there. And I think you're right. A season in there, I think then they start to consolidate at that higher level. We've said it before on the show. I like to see local clubs doing well when they're not playing us, and I think it's better for the surrounding areas when you've got a couple of teams in a decent position. So it's nice to see them doing well, but hopefully that run comes to an end at the Keepmoat Stadium. On to Plymouth against Crewe. So Plymouth were flying, but they've hit a little bit of a stumbling block at the minute. A couple of draws on the bounce. Thoughts on them, guys?
They look good. Plymouth are this team that they nearly had it last season, and they're just building on what they had last season, and they're just slowly doing the business. Some games they're absolutely battering teams. Some days they're just consolidating what they got. In theory, looking at stats, they should have probably done better, but sometimes the stats don't tell the whole story. And Crewe took it early and made them have to wait until 72nd minute. So,
did you see the Crewe goal?
Yes.
Ridiculous.
He meant that. I think he meant that.
Yeah, he did look like he did, didn't he?
It didn't look like a miss-it cross. So an absolute fantastic goal. If you're watching this either live or you're watching it in a replay later on in the week, if you've not seen Cashkit's goal against Plymouth, please find it on YouTube. It is an absolute worldie. If it was scored at a higher level, we'd be seeing it over and over again. Fantastic goal. Yeah. But yeah, Plymouth doing fairly well this season, ticking over nicely. 2 games left from midweek. We've got Charlton 1, Bolton 4. There were some ridiculous scorelines midweek. Charlton not done too well to begin with. I thought they'd be up there or thereabouts. Big team, decent squad, not a bad manager, but it's just not quite working for them. Yeah. It's just not quite gelled yet.
I'm really concerned about their home form. Really concerned. Usually they're one of them teams that you can depend on winning or at least picking up points at home. But for some reason, I don't know if it's the fans are getting on Adkins' back and the players back, or what it is, or if there's a toxic atmosphere. But up until Saturday, I couldn't see where their next win was coming from. And Bolton again, probably the same as Morecambe, just keeping up this momentum from coming up at League Two and doing really well. Sarcevic, well, we all know what a quality player he is, and I think Adelican must be the player of the season so far for me.
Yeah.
For me, it's just heartbreaking seeing Kieran Lee doing well again. I love him as a player, and I wish we still had him. And when I see him going, I'm like, just what we need right now.
That's the normal thing, though, isn't it? A player leaves you, and they just seem to do very, very well. It's frustrating as a football fan. And the final game from Tuesday night was Cambridge 0, Gillingham 2. Dane Oliver starting to hit the form. It's in the back of the net. I think he's got 4 goals now this season. Very good striker, and I think if he carries that on, Gillingham will be fine this season. But looking at the stats here, Cambridge again, like the other promoted teams, pretty much riding the crest of the wave, but just couldn't find the back of the net, and Gillingham have punished them for that.
For me, Cambridge were always going to struggle if they didn't replace Paul Mullen, and that's what it's showing. Paul Mullen today, you probably see him do a lot better. They just not managed to get that replaced as a clinical striker. It's a shame because I didn't see him thinking of him going to Wrexham. I thought League One, you can do it, but money talks.
Definitely. Danny Lloyd's goal as well, worth a mention. Beautiful solo effort that capped off a job well done for Gillingham there. So that is it from the midweek games. Moving on to the weekend. So we'll start with Punk Chef's Sheffield Wednesday. Talk us through this one, mate. What happened?
12 minutes in, I think our left back, who's not a left back, he's a winger, decided to watch the Man U game and imitate Fred and just get put into stands on the floor. He just didn't do a good job at defending. And then getting beaten at your near post, and everyone who plays FIFA says, that's not realistic. Come watch Wednesday, it happens. You get beat at your near post quite a lot. And it's really annoying because Oxford really went into this, and we have this stupid ability of Wednesday fans that we think we're Sheffield Wednesday, we should be battering these. Stop being so disrespectful. They deserve to be here. We're here for a reason. We're going to get these kind of games. And our problem at the minute is the consistency. We pulled it back. Bailey Peacock-Farrell did pull off some great saves and kept us in it. He is a quality keeper. He had got a mistake in there, if we've seen, but he's still a very good goalkeeper, and we're still I still don't know how we got him. Berahino hit the post, great diving header, unlucky. Bannon hit the bar twice. Patterson header was really good, and it was a typical Callum Patterson showing Darren Moore, I can do this, I know what I'm doing. 2-in-2 now, which is fantastic for him. But their second goal, I've got to admit, it was genius. Oh. 2 players on him, and he just flicked it round us. And I can say the defending was lackluster by us, but you can't defend that. You don't know what he's doing. You can't defend. Just for us, it's the 92nd or 93rd minute. Again, we do not concentrate for 90 minutes. We cannot do it. All through the whole of last season, it's now 206 games where we've gone behind first and lost it. And it's ridiculous how our mentality is at this time. It needs to change mentality. The problem with Wednesday fans, they're now all calling for Darren Moore's head, which is daft. He's been in charge for 6 months. Literally, I counted it. I checked it. He's been in charge for 6 months. It's a new team. It's gelling. I didn't like his excuse saying the players were tired, and I get it, but they play week in, week out all the time. Don't use that as an excuse. It'll come good, but he made some really weird team selections. And you scratching your head, then you look in the formation, you're like, you got a left back on the bench. Play the left back that's on the bench, not a winger. It's just like you're screaming. And
we know it as Donny fans, mate. It's square pegs, round holes with Darren Moore sometimes.
I love Darren Moore, the bloke. I think he's awesome. I think everything he's done for in football, brilliant. He's building something at Wednesday.
Yeah.
Sheffield Wednesday fans need to be patient. Chansiri need to be patient. He's been patient with a lot of managers in the past. I said at the start of the season, I don't see us going up straight away unless we go on a run. For me, it's consolidate mid-table and then go up. The problem
very tough division this season.
The problem is Chansiri will have set it being go up.
Yeah. I think Lewis has hit the nail on the head. You said about Wednesday fans screaming for Darren Moore's head. We've got similar noises in and around Doncaster, but Rotherham, settled and organised manager.
Yeah.
Players, they should be up there this season. I think consistency and stability off the field does.
For me, it's the chopping and changing of the team. Yeah. We had a winning team against Wigan, and they changed it completely. And Bannon was dropped out of that game, but maybe Bannon off the bench, coming on when Tyre's legs are, might have been a better option. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not a manager. I'm just a football fan.
We all know much better than what the managers do. We've been talking about it for so long. So on to the Doncaster versus MK Dons game, and this is probably the result which has destroyed so many accumulators this weekend. MK Dons top scorers in the league coming to Doncaster, who looked in disarray from Tuesday night's 6-0 defeat. But for me, the first 11 minutes, we could have been 3-0 up. We've hit the post twice. We've scored a goal as well. And I said it earlier about the commitment, the desire and drive to actually get to the ball first and win those 50-50 tackles. That was there. Big thing for me, though, is the possession. MK Dons, 74% possession. And some beautiful football was played by you guys, playing it around neatly. But there was just no kind of penetrative passes that put us under pressure. I don't know if that's because we kept our shape very well and made it difficult for you to play through us. But yeah, I think we were just quite happy to let you guys have the ball, let you play around with it, and we got the goal 10 minutes from the end. Little contentious, he was offside as the ball was played through, but it comes off the defender's head, and I believe with the rules now, if an attempt to play the ball by the defender and then it goes to the striker or the player who's offside is no longer offside, which I think is wrong. For me, that's promoting defenders not to go for the ball. So yeah, we've got away with one there. But for me, very happy with that result. Something that I didn't expect. My preview, I said 4-1 to MK Dons. So again, what do we know as football fans, eh? What were your thoughts on this one, Jonathan?
Well, from what I've watched like this morning and what I heard on the radio, obviously listening to it live, I think honestly Doncaster thoroughly deserved it. It looked like Bostock and was it Galbraith in the midfield? It looked like you did a real number on O'Reilly and Robson, and O'Reilly seems to be our chief sort of creative. He gets on the ball, he can sort of spread out the passes to Parrott and Waters and Twine. I think Twine was very, very quiet considering his hat-trick up midweek. He came off. I think that was a Richie Wellens masterclass because I believe he gave him his debut at Swindon. Defensively, the first goal defensively, just I don't know, it just seemed to go in slow motion. I mean, I think Rowe had a real good game for you guys. Heard him mentioned a lot, and it was only really the second half. Sort of, we seemed to get control of the game. I mean, we scored a good goal from a corner. We rarely score from corners as it is, but second half, it seemed like we actually were trying to play balls behind you a bit more. I think Waters got behind a couple of times, and I thought, oh, maybe we found a solution. But fair play to you. You hung in there. You got you could say bit of luck, but it's the rules. Something that we've got to accept. And congratulations on your win. Thank you very much. Big result for us because results went in our favour, in and around us, and it's made it a little bit tighter down at the bottom. But we'll get to see the table.
I'm not gonna lie, I was wondering how NK Dons were going to do at the start of the season with the massive change up of manager, and you just settled to it straight away. And that credit to you, board, your players have just gone. We just carry on, and that's hard to do when you lose your manager that early. Yeah, when you just about start, so that's really clever. Seamless transition for MK Dons, and they're doing well. I think you'll be up there from the end of the season, definitely. So on to Fleetwood Charlton. This is a result that I didn't really want to see because Charlton are in and around us, and they've gone to Fleetwood, who were doing very, very well in the league at this point. I think there were 4 or 5 unbeaten, and Charlton, looking in disarray a little bit like Donny, have gone there and got a very good result. Absolutely. But shout out to Lecco. His goal was really good. I think Danny Andrews' free kick again. That guy over a free kick is just ridiculous. He's lethal, isn't he? I know we've got our own free kick master, but that was brilliant. And then for them to get the winner as well, Jaden Stockley, who has come in for some criticism, but it was interesting to note that some of their first team regulars are starting to get back in. I think Charlie Kirk started. I think Alex Gilby started. And if they can get some of their better players back and playing more consistently, I think they will escape the relegation zone. But this is a massive result for Nigel Adkins more than anything, just to take the pressure off him so much. Yeah, I agree. I think the pressure was definitely starting to pile onto him. So that, like you say, it's relieved that pressure a little bit. So we'll keep a close eye on Charlton. I agree. I think they'll turn a corner and potentially start climbing the table. A game where 2 promoted teams faced each other. Another one where, looking at it, I'm wanting Crewe to get beat so that we can actually close some space back on them. And they went 2-0 up, and I thought, well, it's just not our season this season. It's not happening for us. But there was a lot of last-minute winners this week, or draws this week. There's a lot of teams that didn't want to die this weekend when that final whistle, when they want to put something in. And again, own goal, it happens, and it is what it is. But to go and then get the 94th minute and then it pretty much kill the game, it's a fantastic result for Cambridge. I absolutely loved all the knee slides, in fairness. Did you see how many knee slides when they got the equaliser? I thought that was brilliant.
It was definitely the weather for it. Ian's hit the nail on the head there. Crew threw this away, to be fair. I agree. 2-0 up. The should manage the game out, definitely. Another 2-2 draw. We mentioned Plymouth earlier. They've struggled to find that winning formula over the last couple of weeks, and it's happened again.
How many penalties have Lincoln had this season?
Far too many. It's not fair.
It's really not. But every time I come on, it's like Lincoln penalty. Okay.
But yeah, the pressure, Plymouth piling pressure on Lincoln early on. Pressure paid for the first with Ryan Hardy, absolutely on fire at the minute. But a game that ebbed and flowed. Lincoln getting back into it on the 66th. Galloway putting Plymouth back ahead, and then a 90th minute penalty to secure the point and send Lincoln fans home very, very happy. And it's a long journey.
And I agree with, who's just put in chat, I 100% agree with that. Coming down from the Championship, the referees in League One are dreadful.
Yeah.
We're watching it going, we thought Championship refs were bad. It's like, is it like the lower down you get, the lower the ref you get?
I believe so.
Well, I think the ref we had, Daniel, I think that was his first ever League One game on yesterday, wasn't it? The ref that we had. I'm sure it was. I believe
so, yeah. I think he's come up from League Two or the conference. Yeah. I don't think he had too bad a game, in fairness. There were a couple of decisions. I feel for Lewington. The wind blew him down a number of times and the referee blew for it. But that's Dean Lewington. It shows that he's got that experience. As soon you could see it coming from the fans. He had the ball at his feet, facing towards goal. He was just waiting for that touch on his back, and he was down. And that's just clever football for me. And the referee just
bought it.
Yeah, he just bought it. He ate it up. So fair play. But yeah, Hardy's form's ridiculous at the minute for Plymouth, but couldn't quite finish it off. But yeah, poor refereeing decision for the penalty. On to Bolton against Shrewsbury, another good result for Bolton. We mentioned them earlier. They're just ticking along nicely under the radar, doing the business, really.
I'm actually really worried about Bolton. We've got next in the league, and our keeper, Bailey Peacock-Fowler's on international duty, and we have to put our second keeper in net. And he's not that great at times, and I'm worried about Bolton. I really am. I don't want to get smashed at all. And knowing our luck, it'll be a Kieran Lee hat trick, and we're all like, well, we all knew he was a good player, and then we'll just all go home.
Shrewsbury missed the penalty as well, and that pretty much cost them the point there. So it could have been different.
That was an awful penalty, I thought.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, Shrewsbury are still giving them the chances and stuff. If they can bury them, they'll be fine.
Yeah, I think they'll be all right. They just, like you say, they need to start putting those chances away. Cheltenham still look a little bit hungover from the 5-0 drubbing at Sunderland midweek. Struggled against a very good Rotherham. We've said it already in the video that Rotherham are doing bits in the league. They're getting that consistency.
They're just organised, Rotherham, aren't they? They're what everybody in the league look at or should be looking at, going, this is how it's done. This is how you look after a manager. This is how you get players to play for man. And this is how you do it on hardly any money. Because each season, they always manage to put a squad that can run through a brick wall for that manager. And every time he gets a player in, it's always, I see what's happening here, the building summit. If they can just get it in Championship and just build on it, they could have a thing where they go on and run there. But it's like they're scared to go that one step. And I don't think they need to be.
So Ian, routine win. I think we were upset losing Wing to Wednesday. Upgraded with Rathbone.
He's not been great at Wednesday. He really hasn't. He's been very poor since we got him. Very inconsistent. But then again, it is that situation. Sometimes these things happen. You have a player that you thought was great in the Championship, but then you get someone even better in League One.
Yeah. What I will say for Cheltenham is the last 3 games has been Wigan away, Sunderland away, and Rotherham at home. I mean, they are some big hitters in League One that they face. So those aren't the sort of results that they're going to depend their season on.
No.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. I think they'll be looking at that run of fixtures and thinking, if we get 3 points from that, we'll be very, very happy. But they'll be expecting to get no points. So yeah,
they'll just be happy that it's done now. They can go back to going, right, Papa John's, this. We can forget about these.
Yeah, nothing to worry about too much for Cheltenham. I don't think. I
No,
think they'll be
I
all
think they're
right.
all right.
Big result for Portsmouth on a horrible pitch. I don't know if you've seen
Dreadful,
the.
wasn't it?
Yeah, goal. I thought it had been stopped at some point because the ball wasn't bouncing, it wasn't rolling.
I'll tell you
But
something. There was some dangle sliding around on the pitch for celebrations after this. It was awesome.
Well, yeah.
definitely. But Tom will be very happy. The Portsmouth vlogger, 4-0 written all over it. This is
Yeah.
what his channel's made for. Results like this.
Sunderland weren't even in this.
No.
Which
And,
was
well,
big surprise for me that because Sunderland have been so
Yep.
consistent this season. We said it for the 5-0 against Cheltenham, where when they get going, they are scarily good. But this one, out of nowhere, 4-0. Pompey not doing too well. Sunderland flying. Another accumulator destroyer this weekend, I think.
Yep.
absolutely.
We
And
destroyed a
shout
lot of
out to John
accumulators
Marquis
this
as
week.
well.
Yeah. Finally on the
Two
score
goals.
sheet.
2 goals and an assist.
Yeah.
Don't you'll make Dapper cry.
I know. I'd have him back in a heartbeat. So we're currently at around 36 minutes, so we'll try and fly through the last couple of games and then finish around 40 minutes,
It
hopefully.
was a shocker.
Yeah. Accrington Stanley, 2, Ipswich 1. So this, to me, shows that the Tuesday night result against Ipswich may have been a one-off, where it was just one of those crazy results where things didn't go our way, things went their way because Ipswich's inconsistent start to the season is back. Accrington Stanley, good team, but you'd have thought after a 6-0 win, that confidence, that springboard would have pushed them on. Macaulay Bonne scoring
one
again.
shot on target.
Yeah.
I don't get it. You smash Donny 6 and you can only put one shot on target. It's weird. The Ipswich job for Poco I'm worried about because their new owners, they've spent a lot of money. Come Christmas, if they're still down there, they could turn around, off you go, this ain't working, we need to change this.
Yeah.
Because they've gone for this, haven't they?
Yeah, it needs to start doing bits for them. And I thought that 6-0 would have been the springboard for them to push on, but Accrington,
fair play to them.
Yeah, played very well. Got a very good result at home.
Well, Accrington at home is usually a tough one. I always look at that fixture as a MK fan and think if we get anything out of that, that would be brilliant. So,
from what I've seen from being in the Championship, they're very set up well and they know what they're drilled, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Game of the weekend, this.
Yeah, big scoreline this weekend. Wickham 4, Morecambe 3. And we said it earlier on, Morecambe don't fear anybody. Wickham just coming down from the Championship, coming up against Morecambe at home. You'd think absolute banker, one of the big score lines, and Morecambe are having none of it. Cole Stockton not on the score sheet this time, but it did provide 1 assist, maybe 2. I think it was the 1.
I think it was 1, yeah.
So he's still getting involved in the goals, but potentially people focusing on Cole Stockton are allowing other people that time and space to get on the score sheet as well.
If you're a Morecambe fan, you must be absolutely gutted because your team did you so proud this weekend, and to lose it on that again, it's another 92nd minute winner.
Yeah. Just that concentration for the full 90 minutes, not quite there for most teams, but yeah, good result for Wickham. They'll be very happy with that. Still ticking over a little bit like Rotherham, kind of just going about the business very well.
Yeah, if I'm a Morecambe fan, I'd be gutted being 2-0 up at half time, absolutely controlling the game. But as you say, fair play to Wickham. Whatever Gareth Ainsworth said at half time, it worked. I'm not sure if it is a Tafasoli goal. I still think Joe Jacobson scored directly from that corner, or it really must have been right on the line to get a touch. But
everyone celebrated it like it was his goal, apart from Ryan. Ryan was the only one going, I've got this, and they all ran to like going, no, you didn't.
I'm claiming that. 2 more games to go. AFC Wimbledon 1, Burton 1. Been struggling at home at the minute, Wimbledon, so they'll be happy to get that point. And another late goal. Luke McCormick, 90th minute, sends the fans into delirium.
Yeah, well, they gave Burton a gift for the opener, in fairness, with the pass back, and I think Burton could have won it right at the end as well. I think the goalkeeper pulled off a really brilliant save, and I think that's a fairly good point for both of them. In fairness, I think Burton would have taken the point at the start of the game, and yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Great goal by Luke McCormick as well. Fired into the top corner. No keepers saving that.
No.
And then the final game of this video and of the review is Gillingham 0, Wigan 2. We always seem to end on Gillingham. Sorry if you're a Gillingham fan watching, you're having to wait until the end. But yeah, Max Power, Will Keane, having fun on this one.
Yeah, Wigan will just want their team. These recruited well after everything that's happened. They got the belief back with the fans, and it's nice to see. You don't want to see a club going through that, even if you're a rival. If you're a rival and you're thinking that, please go not support football. No one see club gone. It's like I get really annoyed at minute seeing Forest fans wishing ill on Derby. Yeah, they're your rival, but I don't want to see them gone at the end of the day because it's not right.
No, because a football club is more than a football club. They do a lot for the community, and it's a release for people's mental well-being, physical well-being. There's so much to football.
If you actually have a look at some of the clubs that are going bust all the time, the clubs who are one club towns, this is all they got. So there isn't another team to fall back on. You have to go make another club. Yeah. And they're just showing you if you get it right and you get the right structure and you can go do well. And for me, I didn't see this because I wasn't sure how Wigan were going to be from midweek, but they've just gone, put it behind them, close the door on that chapter, we go again. And Gillingham, and they started really well, and they must be a little bit gutted with it, but the stats say it all, really.
Yeah, possession-wise, in Wigan's favour. Shots-wise, fairly similar, but when you've got the quality that Wigan do, you're going to be struggling, aren't you? Yeah. And that leads us on to the League One table. So we'll start down at the bottom as we always do. It's been the same every single episode. We're still down there. We're still in 24th, but it's looking a little healthier. We're on 7 points. If we'd have lost the game, we'd have still been on 4 points, and it wouldn't have been looking good. We've got a game in hand over those Rovers. Say again?
I said you should just say the table's upside down.
I rather see Dapper propping up a bar than propping up our table.
Definitely, I agree with you on that one. But yeah, we've got a game in hand over those above us. So that if we win that game, it gets us up to 10 points. The goal difference, I'm not liking that -12. That's like an extra 3 points in itself. But hopefully that result has helped us turn a corner. Who knows what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks? Charlton, Ipswich, we say it every week, two teams that we didn't expect to be down there. There's a few other teams down there that we wouldn't.
I'll say Lincoln as well. Lincoln,
you'd expect them a little bit higher. But 10 games in, the table's starting to take shape. Teams are in the position where they are because of how the form's been. So it's starting to show a true reflection of what League One's been like over the first couple of months. So not too many arguments with how the bottom 12 are looking. Morecambe, their fans will be very happy, and if it stays like that, I think that's a very positive season for them.
Yeah.
Moving into the top 12, starting with Sheff Wednesday.
See where I said Wednesday would finish this season as a realistic fan. I said we'd probably be mid-table, we've got to get on a run. We've got to get on a run, and we've got to be consistent, but this league is tight. The teams in here are very good. And Wednesday fans need to just wake up and realise what league they're in, because I'm sick and tired of Wednesday fans disrespecting teams in this league. I don't agree with it. We're here for a reason. Respect your opposition, and then it'll come. Because at the end of the day, we can only beat what's in front of us, and there are going to be teams that come at us who are going to be like, you're our cup final. I don't mean it to be a cup final, but if we beat you, we're going to be on a wave. Look at Morecambe. Morecambe beat us. Morecambe beat us, and they just blow us. And everyone thinks where we should be at Wigan. It's early days. We had a bit where we stopped the rot. We got to start again. I don't know. It's early days for this team. I don't know where we go and what happens. It's just going to take time.
Yeah. Big surprise for me, though, in the top 12 is Plymouth up in third. But you look at the points. We've got MK Dons in 6th on 19. But the points is just such a tight division. Like you say, I think the big word this episode has been consistency.
I think it's been every episode.
Yeah, just getting a bit of consistency in this division, and you can literally go from just outside of the bottom four, pushing playoffs. The result for MK Dons on Saturday didn't do you any favours in the table. We third before the game, or fourth? Yeah, third. So he dropped a couple of places, but so tight.
I take this at this stage of the season. I mean, as you say, new manager, completely new players. I think there's a lot of people thought we were going to be there or thereabouts, and I'm glad we sort of got a week's break now to sort of maybe get our heads together and maybe just rest a few legs, and then obviously go again, because I think we've got 3 games in a week again after the international break. So yeah, it's
games coming thick and fast.
I'll take that as it is.
Yeah, definitely. And that brings us to the end of this episode. It's been a long one. We've had 24 games to go through. So thank you for your time. It's much appreciated. As I said at the start of the video, if you've not followed Jake or Jonathan on their socials, please do. The links are in the description down below. If you've enjoyed this review, please stick a big thumbs up on it for us, please. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comments in the section down below. As always, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.